So today we're going to be looking at the Devblog for the Chrysler and the General Motors Abrams prototype and why these vehicles might cause a massive problem or not.
And won't you start the music, get into it, won't you dance with me? Find the bass and lose it, you can do it, won't you dance with me? Move your feet and feel it in the space between. You gotta give yourself a moment.
So what is going on, guys? It is your boy Garage Gaming here, and today we're looking at the Devblog for the XM-1C and the XM-1 GM, titled The Ancestors of the Abrams. Now, I think I've already done a video about these two vehicles because we initially thought that since the Leopard 2K was a prototype that we would be getting one of these two, prototypes. And I reliably know that the General Motors prototype is the superior one of these two vehicles. However, the kit includes the XM-1 General Motors tank, which is the Chrysler one, the premium account for 15 days, 2,000 golden eagles, desert camo, pre-order bonus, an M60 decoration, a skull decal which looks like shit, and the Whispering Death title. So that's pretty cool, but I wouldn't buy this personally. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. The Devblog reads as follows: in short, premium rank 5 tanks, the closest relatives to the legendary Abrams, high survivability, excellent mobility, and fine cannon. They will speed up the research of any US tank between the ranks of 1 and 6. You will get tons of silver lions, and they're a lot of fun to play. So that's a very big marketing pitch right there. Anyway, 2 new and magnificent rank 5 tanks are coming to War Thunder. It's a story of competition between 2 companies, Chrysler and General Motors, in creating a new main battle tank for the American Army, which would soon become known around the world as the M1 Abrams. In War Thunder, both tanks are very similar to each other. The XM-1 is a premium rank 5 tank with composite armour and side skirts. Though its armour is inferior to the armour of the M1 Abrams, it provides decent protection against any type of ammo in the top tier ranks. And there is a massive chunk of history, which I will read starting from now. It started in the early 1970s, at the height of the Cold War and the arms race. After the joint German-American project to create the MBT-70 main battle tank was closed, the all-new American XM-803 project was deemed an insufficient and too expensive response to the newest Soviet developments. The US Department of Defense still developed a new list of requirements for the future American main battle tank. 2 engineering giants joined the contest, Chrysler and General Motors companies. Both contestants decided to use the developments of the MBT-70 and the XM-803 to design a new tank. Many corrections and additions were made to the tactical and technical requirements of the American government, first and foremost on defensive characteristics of the future main battle tank. The requirements for the tank's armour and survivability increased, along with the maintainability in the field. In addition, the Arab-Israeli conflict showed that the modern tank must have the ability to effectively destroy armoured targets at long distance, included with kinetic shells, and also have a sufficiently large complement of shells. In spite of the changes and additions to the technical specifications, the contestants managed to achieve their goals, and by 1976 they presented their developments, the experimental prototypes of the XM-1 Abrams tank, for testing. Both vehicles were outwardly similar, with practically identical dimensions. They chose alike in their layouts and used the same 105mm rifled M68 cannon. Both tanks turned out very well. Which prototype did the military choose, and why? The XM-1 General Motors, the contest model from General Motors, became a further development of ideas and technical solutions for the MBT-70 and XM-803 projects, including the diesel powertrain in mixed undercarriage with the 6 roller wheels per side, 3 with hydraulic suspension and 3 with torsion bar suspension. The competitor to General Motors, the Chrysler company, used their XM-1C model to present not only a progressive gas turbine engine, but a new undercarriage with several independent wheels on each side with individual torsion bar suspension. In addition, the Chrysler engineers were also able to save funds on constructing the new tank by optimizing the components of the aiming equipment of the gun stabilization system. These details played a decisive role in the selection of the contractor to make the XM-1 project a reality. In spite of the fact that numerous flaws and teething problems arose during the project, the prototype for the USA's next generation main battle tank was confirmed after several cycles of correcting issues and modernizing the prototype XM-1C. The first vehicles began to be developed under the designation M1 Abrams. Continuing with the main Devblog, the tank's main armament consists of 105mm rifled M68 cannon, already familiar to our players from the top tanks M60 Rise and M1 Abrams. The XM1 tanks carried 55 shots and have a decent range of shells to choose from fin stabilised armour piercing with discarding Sabo, APFSDS, ESH and HEATFS rounds, and smoke shells. The 1500 horsepower engine, a diesel engine on the XM1 and gas turbine on the XM1C. Sorry, let me rephrase that. A diesel engine on the XM-1 General Motors and the gas turbine on the XM-1 Chrysler allows the tank to reach up to 75 km per hour. Tanks get up to speed very quickly and a pleasure to drive. The XM-1 General Motors differs from having its slightly higher maximum speed and hydraulic suspension, which gives the tanks new opportunities in some combat situations. On the whole, the XM-1 is an excellent top-range tank in the US tech tree, and its premium status significantly boosts the research for any armed vehicles in the American tech tree between the ranks 1 and 6. This brings an excellent bonus to Silver Lions. The XM-1 tanks is available for pre-order in our digital goods store. The XM-1 General Motors version is available to PC and PS4 players. The XM-1 Chrysler version will be exclusive to Xbox One, a new platform for War Thunder. So, let's see what the problem is here. I can identify a few problems already. Now, firstly, last patch we were introduced to a vehicle with not similar characteristics but the same gun, being the McGuck. A lot of people would say that these tanks being introduced would pretty much eliminate the need for the McGuck, but I disagree, seeing as that 7.7 is extremely popular right now. These tanks would definitely be 8790 tops, because their capabilities are very similar to the Abrams. The only downside of these vehicles will be having less armor. But that's all I see. Maybe, not having the same APFS DS rounds, sure, but as far as I can tell, the M774 APFS DS round, which is a DU round, existed back then, because it's equipped on the Rise. So, I see a big problem with these tanks being added in the fact that they will outclass a lot of other tanks that they fight against. Especially being able to buy into an Abrams. I can see the appeal, of course, and to be honest, that's where these tanks belong. However, the big issue comes from collectors. You see, the Chrysler version is going to be exclusive to Xbox One players. Now, I'm all for Xbox One joining the spectrum of War Thunder players. It's already been proven that us PS4 players can, play the game. For those of you who say, I don't know, it's just peasants getting extra shit, I agree. I don't want anyone to get exclusive content. However, having said that, the idea that someone who plays on console can't play War Thunder, I mean, look at my fucking channel. So that's a superfluous argument there. But the main thing is the fact that both of these vehicles will be premium and one is going to be exclusive to Xbox, I highly disagree with. In my opinion, the way it should be done is the Chrysler version should be the premium. That version is considered slightly weaker in my opinion. Therefore, the Chrysler version should not just be an Xbox exclusive, but a premium tank at rank 5 in general. Where to put the General Motors prototype? Straight in between the MBT-70 and the M1 Abrams. I think that would be an excellent lineup, and I think things would work there. Now, here's the problem. If you've got an Xbox exclusive premium, the game is going to be flooded by these XM-1 Chryslers and even the other premium one as well, and it's going to be a credit pinata for any kind of Russian or Axis players. They're going to literally beat the shit out of any player that arrives in this tank that is new, doesn't understand top tier. That is what I have a big issue with. It's going to create this massive matchmaking black hole, and they're just going to get farmed. Those of us who actually grinded our Abrams out, even though I use premium and all that other stuff, I actually legitimately grinded my Abrams out, and now I want to go in and kill lots of things. Well, it's going to be difficult when half my team is made up of someone who just literally got the game the other day, or is a low-tier premium player, and then decided to buy an Abrams, buy their way into rank 5, this top-tier matchmaking where these tanks belong, and they're going to get their asses kicked by players who've been rocking T64s, T62s since, for a couple of months now. So I see a big problem with that. The correlation between player skill and the actual capability of their vehicles. These will be capable vehicles. These are the predecessors to the Abrams, just with slightly weaker armor. These will actually be slightly faster than the Abrams because of their weaker, lighter armor, but the playstyle will be roughly the same. So, I don't know, we'll have to see what happens with this, because we don't know the full story yet. They might be introducing a Russian premium tank at rank 5 to counter this, If I were to choose one, I'd definitely say a T72. Some form of variant of the T72 that is weaker than the main tree variants. A lot of people might have a problem with the T72, so being a premium, so I'd say add 2. Add a premium T72 that is slightly weaker, and then have a production T72, say the T72A or the Ural or whatever, and then you could have the T72M as the, what do you want to call it, the premium, because it would be a weaker vehicle historically. So that is really all I have to say about the whole topic. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been your boy Gary G Gaming, and let me know down in the comments below what you believe that these vehicles should be doing, because it's inevitable that they're going to be added into the game, but you know, how they're implemented, I think Gaijin could do a lot better. So yeah, see ya.